Well, g'day and welcome back to the shed. And today I've got something a bit different. This is obviously a homemade radio, but what makes it interesting is its backstory. It came to me via a friend of a friend. Current owner's name is Rachel, and Rachel has included a note with the radio. She said, my grandfather was a self-taught radio technician. He worked for the ABC for many years and was involved and worked on the radio tower at Baker's Hill during the war. He made radios for all his grandchildren, and I was the last to get one. My grandfather's name was Austin Harry Brown, and you can see the initials Austin Brown in the grill there. Nice little job. Rachel says, thanks for having a look at the radio. It suffered a power surge in the mid-80s and I haven't used it since. Well, we don't know what the damage is, but let's have a look at it and see what we're up against. Well, the back panel is just a piece of plain plywood, and I understand that this is original. This is how it was made. So let's just get it off. There's only 4 screws to take it off. I notice the power cord's been cut off, which is not surprising. It remains to be seen what damage that power surge back in the mid-80s did, but if it hasn't been used since then, oh, we'll see. Well, it's got the venerable roller speaker 6H in there, and it looks to be in pretty good nick. Now I've got, oh, that's an output transformer. Tap, where's the output? There it is. And I notice the transformer's on a bit of a tilt, but there's no sign of burning there. The stump of the power cord doesn't look too good though. And I guess this is the aerial. That's interesting actually, because the back panel doesn't even have a hole for the aerial to come out, so it either went across and came out with the power cord, or it never came out at all. It's the old rubberized wire. Still in pretty good nick by the looks of things. So I guess to take this out of the cabinet, yeah, just a couple of screws there and there, I would say. So okay, let's have it out and see what we're up against. I might need to take those knobs off too, and I can probably do a bit of cleaning up around the front there. Well, I've got the screws out and the speaker's held in with these farm stock clips, which makes life very easy. So I should be able to just pull this out now. Yep. Alright, I'll just put the case aside for the moment and see what we've got. Looks like it might have been dropped or something, the way that transformer's leaning. I won't touch it for now though. Dial cord appears to be intact. That's a bit of a bonus. Bit dusty, but that's to be expected. So we've got a 6M5 there in the output. This will be a, what is it? A 6X4 rectifier. What's that? 6AV6. I think I've got spares of all of these if we need them. That'll be the detector and preamp. Second IF we got, what is this? Come on, come out. It's a 6BA6. So, classic lineup so far. And what's the mixer oscillator? That's going to be a 6BE6. Yep. I'm sure I had exactly the same tube line up in something else I worked on very recently. Can't quite remember what it was. Alright, let's have a look underneath. Okay, well immediately we got the dual electrolytic there. What's that? It says EMC201. I can't see a value on it. Oh yeah, maybe down there. 350 volt. No, I can't see the values on it, but typical pi filter there. We've got 3 resistors paralleled up, and they've been hot, and the bands are of them. I think I brushed half the colour off with that brush just then. Let's see if I can see what they are on the other side. Green, brown, green, red, I think. So that would make them 1,500 arms each, so that should be 500 arms across the bunch of them there. I don't know about the status of this, but nothing looks cooked, apart from the fact that they've been hot, and that's to be expected. And we got 3 or 4 waxes in there, which I think probably should be changed, so I can do that. Now, the main thing is this power surge. That's what concerns me. So let's have a look and pull the power cord out here. And that goes to the switch. Back up from the switch to that green wire, which... does it? Where does that go? It goes straight into the tranny. So let's have a look across it. Then probably just look across the wires here. Now that's going to be a dead short probably. Okay, so I've got the meter on the 10 arms range. We'll just turn it on. We're looking for probably 50 arms or something around there. That's actually showing, what's this, times 10, so that's 100 arms across the primary. That's not diabolical. I think that's probably okay. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be, but it's within the range that you'd expect, so that's all right. We don't seem to have an open circuit primary or a shorted one, so that's looking promising. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get rid of this old power cord here. Right. There we go. That's one half of it. I've got a new power cord for it here. It's just a plain vinyl one. I do have some nice period braided cord on order, but it hasn't arrived yet. Alright, and the other side goes to the switch. Now I'm not going to hook up the earth at the moment, just in case we have an earth leakage when I fire it up. If I get full brightness on the dim bulb, I'm going to look straight at one of these waxes. The other thing I wanted to check was the coupling capacitor on the output tube, the 6M5, and that's going to be on pin 2, I think, the grid. And there it is there. It runs through this resistor and through here to the plate of the, I forget what it is at the moment, the detector valve anyway, detector and triode. And it's a mica. So it's probably perfectly alright. These others, yeah, all seem to go to ground from the IFs and whatever, and they're highly suspect. I really don't like the look of this one at all. But look, I'll just see what we've got first. What I might do is just fire it up on dim bulb, just slowly feed some voltage into it via the variac, because I don't think this electrolytic has seen any charge since, what is it, mid-80s? And it'll be probably dried up, but we'll just see what we've got before I go changing things, and if it's going to show any sign of life, or whether the transformer's dead perhaps. Although at least the primary looked okay across the power cord. I should check the secondary, I'm not too sure, but we'll soon find out. Anyway, what I might do is put this on the B plus and monitor the plate voltage as I bring it up. So I'll do that. That'll be around here somewhere. Where's the B plus come out? It'll be one of them. Okay. And I'll turn him up. I want the other side to ground. Alrighty. I might just hook the speaker up to that too, make sure we see if we're getting any sound from it. Okay, so we've got, that looks like it's been stuck on there. That says ever ready on the top of that. Looks like Harry Brown must have adapted this from a battery or something to attach the speaker leads. Okay, I think we're set to go. I've got the variac feeding the current limiter dim bulb, and I've got it set to 0 at the moment. We're on current limiting, so variac on, turn the switch on, and I'm monitoring the B+, the unfiltered B+ on here, and this is showing me anything from the chassis to ground, just to make sure we don't have anything live on the chassis. As far as I know, there's no reason for there to be, but we'll see. So I'll just start to feed a little bit of voltage in and just look for, what have we got, about 50 volts on that now, maybe. And not seeing anything yet, but then I wouldn't expect to. I'll let that sit there and let the electrolytics marinate for a few minutes. Okay, it's been a little while. I'm just coming up to around 100 volts. I'm going by the dodgy meter on the front of the variac here, but it's about 100, and we're seeing what, 20 volts, 21. It's just coming up a little bit there, which suggests that the rectifier tube's starting to kick in. So we're starting to get a little bit of B+, and nothing seems to be cooking, so that's a good thing. Just keeping an eye on that electrolytic can. There's no voltage to ground, so I'm willing to touch it and see if it's getting hot. No, it's cold. That's good. If we have output from the secondary and we've got plate voltage, I presume we must have filament voltage, or we wouldn't be getting that because the rectifier valve wouldn't be working. So we've got everything there that it needs to work, I think. It might be interesting to see what filament voltage we've got. I'll just take this clip lead off and put it on the filament. And we've got, that's 10 volts AC, we've got about 2 volts on the filament, which is about right for the voltage we're feeding into it. We should have 6 at full voltage. I'll put that back to there. Just monitoring the chassis so I don't zap myself, but it's looking perfectly fine. All right, let's just bring it up a little bit more, shall we? We'll try 150 volts. Still nothing from the globe. That's good. And the plate voltage now is coming up to 79, 80, 81, climbing up. Okay, so I've dialed it up to about 200 volts by the meter going into it. Now that's still on restricted voltage, so what's actually getting to the set will be somewhat less than that. We have a slight glow in the globe there, which suggests that it's dropping something across that, drawing a moderate amount of current, nothing alarming. We're starting to see a red glow in the heaters there as well, which is promising. I don't think we would hear anything yet, not on restricted power. No, nothing from the speaker. All right, I'll bring it up a little bit more. That's about 230 going in. And still not a peep out of it. No, it seems profoundly deaf. Nevertheless, we've got 215 volts on the plate, so it is capable of working. All right, what I might do is go off dim bulb. And yeah, we still seem to have zero output. Nothing at all. Alright, let's just have a look at it. See if I can see what's going on. Okay, so we've got it upside down. I'll put it back on dim bulb. And that's behaving perfectly. Small glow from the dim bulb, then it dies down. I'll wait for the plate voltage to come up. And what I want to do is take it step by step, see if we've got the amplifier working at all. We should be getting something off the no sound from the wiper of the pod. Okay, how about the plate of that 6M5? Not hearing anything of the grid of that. Not a sausage. That should be buzzing its little heart out through the speaker. I wonder if we've got an open circuit output transformer or a dead 6M5. I'm hoping for the 6M5 really. Let's just have another look at that off dim bulb. I'll see if we've got filtered B+. What have we got on here? 170, yeah, that looks alright. Yeah, look, that should be making a lot of noise. Alright, let's have a look at the output tranny, I guess. Turn it off. So I've got a blue and a red wire going in there. Okay, so firstly I'll check the secondary of the output transformer, although it's bound to be okay. It's the primary that normally goes. We should be looking just a few ohms across here. That's interesting, I'm seeing nothing. Check the meter. Nothing across, is that the primary or the secondary? I'll just have to check. I'll check the other side of it. Now one side of this goes to ground. So I'll earth it there, the other side goes to this wire here. We've got 0.7 ohms, so that must be the secondary. And if that is indeed the primary, then it's cooked. Dead as a doornail. So I'll have to fish around and see what kind of output transformers I've got. Also this tube here, although it's gassy. Gassy, my God. I just pulled it out of its socket, thinking it looked gassy, and look at the base of it, it's cracked. I don't know if I did that when I pulled it out. Anyway, it's a 6BE6, so I should have a spare one of them around. That will ensure that there's no sound coming out of it, but our problem is this output tranny, I'm pretty sure. So I've dug up a few old output transformers. Some of them look pretty crusty, but that doesn't mean that they're not okay. You can always clean them up. So testing the primary, and that's looking good. The secondary will almost certainly be okay, because it always is. Yep. And this one, similar. These came out of a valve stereogram a bit later than this chassis, I think. But the output should be compatible. I don't know what the turns ratio is, but at the moment I just want to find something that works. I can probably, if there's an impedance matching issue, I can probably do something to match them up, or find something that matches better. But 6M5 is a pretty common output tube, and I wouldn't be surprised if these were driving a 6M5 in the stereo they came out of. So I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was an old radiogram chassis. I think HMV or something. So what have we got here? Don't tell me there's nothing on the secondary. That's most unlikely. Oh yeah, there we go. That one's all right too. Now this one, it looks a little bit more appropriate for it. Let's just try this. Now I'm not sure if I'm looking at the primary or secondary here. I'm not seeing a whole lot there. No. This one is no good. Secondary will have something. Yeah. This one's no good. Alright, so that's out of the picture. This one here, let's have a look at it. What do we got across there? That's times 100. We got times 10, that's 300 ohms. 280 ohms across the primary. I think crusty as these look, they might be a better option. Okay, so I'm just de-rusting that other one and cleaning it up a bit, but in the meanwhile, let's see if we can have this one out. Okay, it does look like it's been rather hot there. I don't know if something's shorted and taken that out. That could have been the power surge that Rachel was talking about. In any case, let's just clean this up a bit and then I'll put the new one in. I'll see if I've got another valve for that. What is it? Was it a 6BE6? I hope I've got one there. Now, let's see if we can fit this new one in. So I've cleaned the output transformer up and put it in, and hopefully this will do the trick. I'm just soldering up the last of the leads here. And this old wire doesn't like taking solder very much. There we go, that's okay, that's good. And I'm just putting a little bit of heat shrink over it. And that one, so I'll just shrink them on. And that one. And that one. Now, as luck would have it, I have one spare 6BE6. Now this one's untested. I don't know if it works or not, but it's got to work better than this broken one. But yeah, it may or may not be any good. If it's no good, I'll have to look at getting another one from somewhere. Just bent the pin there. Just need to clean the pins on it and I'll put it in and see what happens. And I'll just clean out the socket with a dental pixter. These are very good for that sort of thing. So in you go. And I'll also clean up the 6M5 output tube as well. Just cleaning out the socket. And this 6M5 does look pretty tired. Done a lot of hours, I suspect, but you can't tell by the look of them. It could be perfectly alright. So I'm going to put it in and let's do what we did before. I'll fire it up and just see if we get any output now. Okay, so I've hooked the speaker back up to it, and somewhat optimistically an aerial. I'm going to again monitor the plate voltage on this meter here. I am going to put it on current limiter dim bulb, just in case. But that looks healthy enough. It came up, going off, and it should brighten up again in just a minute as the valves start to conduct. Yep, here it comes. Alright, now we'll see if we have any output. hearing something.
Shakib, repentant after helping his side.
Repairs, remodels and revitalizes.
I had to take a decision to make sure my team wins. Right or wrong, there will be debates. But if it is in the rules, I don't mind taking those chances. Matthew said it was disgraceful.
Well, that's not too bad. It is on current limiter. I'll turn the dim bulb off and we probably would get better reception.
Drastically. So one of the 9 modes of dismissal in cricket, being timed out, has remained chiefly the stuff of anxiety dreams for players at all levels rather than a reality. There have been 6 instances.
Increased tensions with other military groups.
This is a new development, and I think some data. Someone's just said, I'm going to take someone. I've often thought Maureen G is named to be next to Tony Galati in a spud shed. Oh my goodness. It is 9 to 6 on ABC Radio Perth, as you've been hearing.
Well, that's sounding pretty good. I'll go ahead now, clean it up, replace some of those paper capacitors, and I'm not sure if I can straighten out this transformer where it's been bent over. I don't want to do any further damage to it, but I'll see what I can do. A little bit more cleaning up, but yep, that's a good result.
Tasking on strike.
I just realised we're not getting anything on that meter, and I didn't hook up the earth. There we go. Let's see what we're getting. So 194 volts on the plate. I'm not sure what it should be exactly for this radio, but that does strike me as being a little bit low. It's not on any current limiting at the moment, it's off dim bulb. But it does have all those dodgy paper capacitors in it, so I think before I go any further I'll change those and just see if we get any improvement. So just looking at the underside of the chassis here, and the first question I ask myself is, why did that output transformer blow? A power surge may have been the cause. Power surges were pretty common in the mid-1980s. The power supply here in Perth was not all that stable. The grid coupling cap to the output valve is perhaps the first place to look, but in this case that is a silver mica capacitor, and they usually don't give any trouble. That said though, with a power surge anything could have happened. I feel inclined, even though it's a silver mica, to change that anyway. So I found a 0.022, which is close enough. That'll do nicely. Let's run a bit of solder into him. And I may as well go on to replace these other wax paper caps. Just give this one a clean up and work out what it is. I can't read the writing on it at the moment. It's a Ducon. I can just see around the corner there, that's a 0.05 microfarad. So we've got a 0.1 there, a 0.05. Over here we've got a 0.047, and this one here is another 0.1. That's interesting. That one's at 600 volts, that one's at 400. All the ones I use are rated at 600 volts anyway, so that should be fine. Okay, I'll start with this one and just take him out there. Alright, so let's put some power on it again and have a listen. I'll put it on dim bulb because I've been messing with it. Not that I think there'll be much wrong with it. Now that's just doing what it should do. Fading off. Coming up again hopefully in a minute. Yep, here it comes. and there being no issues obviously in there, I'll take it off dim bulb and put it on full power.
Yes, from an international point of view now, I don't think at the time there was a realisation by not making the World Cup that's trophy.
The problem, make the regulator. Look, there's the point. Go through it.
Yeah, reception isn't great in the shed here, but we might be able to get it a little bit better by doing an alignment as well.
17 for 1. Yeah, I mean that's really going to hurt as well. I suspect it's caught a lot of teams off guard. It caught teams in the competition.
I still haven't looked at that filter capacitor, and it seems to be performing fine. There's no hum that I can hear at all. But I think from a point of view of reliability, I probably should change those filter caps. Not sure about this resistor pack here. They have been hot, but it seems to be working all right. Another thing I think I'll look at now is the voltages, see if they've come up at all since I've replaced these capacitors. Okay, so checking some voltages around the place, and first of all we'll have a look at the plate of the output tube, which is on pin 7. There it is there, that blue wire, and it's got 261 volts on it. That's up a little bit I think from before. The screen is on pin 1 and it's got 193 on it. Just looking at the cathode as well, that has, just taking this off the cathode bypass cap, it has 5 volts on it. Maybe if I put it on a lower range I'll get a more accurate reading. 5.23 volts on the cathode. That seems about what it should be. I probably should change that cathode bypass cap though, being electrolytic and a bit old, and I'll also do the filter cap as well. Well, I won't replace that cathode bypass cap now because I don't have a suitable replacement. I'll have to go down tomorrow and buy one. I'm out of stock of a lot of things at the moment, but I've got a couple of 25 UF caps. I think these are probably 25s, so I'm going to replace this filter cap here, or the dual filter caps. This is 2 capacitors in one package. Let's just check. I think it's probably, oh, these are 2 16s. Oh, okay, I've probably got a couple of 16s as well. 25s would work, but I could go for 16s. I might buy some replacements for these dropping resistors here as well for the filter. I don't have anything really suitable on hand, and I do think they're a little bit cooked, so I think, yeah, maybe we should replace them too. Okay, so I'll solder in these 24s. I didn't have any 16s, so I'm going to go with the 24 UF caps. It shouldn't make any real difference. Possibly a slightly higher power surge when you first turn the set on, but I'm sure the rectifier, I think it's a 6X4, will easily cope with that. Okay, so I'll turn it on again and we'll just see what kind of plate voltage we're getting. We'll see if it's come up a bit since I changed those caps. So going off dim bulb, and we should be hearing some sound any tick of the clock.
With us on the ABC, hope you've been enjoying the coverage today. It's been great fun.
Okay, turn that off. So plate is on this pin here, 263, 264, so I was sitting on 260 I think before, so that's a bit better. And the screen, 198. Interesting, that's a bit more healthy. Just thought I'd fix up this dial lamp here. It seems to have a dodgy ground, and I think it's this spot here, or the thread part of the lamp holder not actually grounding, because the live wire seems to be pretty much making contact. Also, just thought I'd fix the dial up a little bit. It has these stations. These are typed on a typewriter and stuck on with sticky tape, and I don't want to lose them, but the tape has become a little bit scruffy, so I'll just take off the loose ends of the tape and leave them in place. So we've got 6WN. I don't even know what that was. It's not a Perth station. Never was a Perth station as far as I know. I'm not sure where this is from. 6KY. We've got 6IX there, although 6IX on the dial is there, which suggests that maybe the RF alignment wasn't all too good on this. I'll have a look at the alignment anyway, but I'm not sure whether I would get it to line up with these stickers or the actual station locations. Just make it look a little bit neater without changing the original idea. So I thought I'd just do a quick IF alignment, see if it needs it. I'm not sure if it does or not, but why not while I've got it out of the cabinet. Frequency 457.5 kilohertz. Okay, now modulation we want 30%. AM frequency, there we go, I'll make it 500 hertz. Alright, so that should be good to go. Okay, so I've got a primitive dummy load set up here so we don't have to listen to it. I've got this 8 ohm resistor on the output of the output transformer there, meter lead attached there, and this clip attaches to the speaker lead. I can take it off the speaker lead and put it onto this resistor for the dummy load. Turning it over, and that lead just came off. So this is the mixer oscillator tube here. It's a 6BE6 and the grid is on pin 1, and there it is, that big wire going there straight to the aerial coil, so it makes sense. And if I now turn it on, we should have a signal coming in here, and I'll just set a level on the meter, maybe there, and just disconnect that speaker lead. The signal's gone up a bit because of the change in load. That's alright, we'll just put it there. So while I've got it upside down, I'll adjust the second IF first, and we'll just see if we get any change in the output there. Now these coils are quite good actually. They've got a big brass adjuster in them. Alright, so just turning it that way, it's going down, back up, up quite a bit. Okay, so I'll peak that there. That's about its peak, I think. Okay, so I guess I should turn it upside down and do the other side of that coil, really. Doing that without disturbing the leads though, that's going to be tricky. Okay, I'll try tipping it forward. How about that? Okay, so adjusting the top of that coil now. If I can get the screwdriver into it. Okay, so we'll go anti-clockwise and see what happens. Not much. Clockwise and see what happens. That seems to be going down, so we'll just take it back the other way. Coming up, coming up, coming up a lot. Wow, okay. Either this was aligned to a different IF frequency. That's its peak right there. Or it was way out. Okay, well, while I've got it upside down, I'll do the second one. I'll probably need to reduce that amplitude a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. So back down to about there. Going down, coming up. About there does it, I think. And I'll just adjust the meter down to another reference point. That'll do there. And tune this coil here. That's going down, coming up, going down. That's about it. Now that did change when I took the screwdriver off, so I might just readjust these with a nylon tool. So, yep, just adjusting it with this. That's its peak there, and I'll do the other one again. Yeah, that's it there. Alright, I'll turn it over, do the top again. And that's coming up a bit more. That's him there. And the first IF coming up a little bit more. Still. Going down. So that's the peak of the first one there. Okay, I'll run over them again, but off camera. I think we've got it pretty close now though. Okay, I've got it back the right way up. Hooked the speaker up to it. I thought we'd give it a road test and just see if it's improved at all and make sure I haven't wrecked it or anything. So turning it on, I've still got the aerial hooked up, so we should be hearing something soon. It's tuning, whatever. Oh, here we go.
And the dive from Sasha Maloney can't get to the ball. She hit it.
Well, that's running very well. The only thing I was going to do is change this cathode bypass capacitor, and I'll just have to run down to JCar and see if they've got one. They should have something suitable for that. It's 25 microfarad, but it only needs about 10 or 15 volts. I think it has about 10 volts on it. So I'll do that, but I won't bother videoing it. I'll just put it in when I've got it. The next thing to do, I guess, is to fit it back in the case, and the case does need a little bit of tidying up, so I'll get onto that now, and then it'll be finished. Well, there it is, back in its box. I've tidied up the back panel a bit. I've drilled some holes for ventilation because these valves do generate a bit of heat, and there was nowhere for it to escape before. The other thing I've done is the aerial was just lying around in the bottom of the cabinet. It wasn't attached to anything, so I've just tied it up in a kind of a loop here. I don't know how well that'll work, but it can't be any worse than what it was. So we'll put the back on, I guess, and I've cut the back panel to fit neatly inside the back there, so it did screw on flush over the back, and the edges were visible, and they weren't terribly tidy. They'd probably been damaged a little bit over the years and looked a bit scruffy. So now what I've done also, I brought the aerial out here in case people want to attach an aerial to it, because I'm not all that confident that this will pick up all that well. It will undoubtedly work as well as it did before, but at least you will have the option of putting a better aerial on it to get better reception. So there we go. I might just try it without the aerial first. Plug it in.
To have one's body cast in public, and that kind of, you'd send me off in all kinds of different directions, and
there is a lot of noise interference in the shed here, but I think that would work quite reasonably just with the internal aerial outside of here. I noticed that the tuning works in the incorrect direction. You're turning it clockwise and the needle moves left, but that's the way it was. I haven't touched it, so I'm going to leave it as it was. You're not picking up a lot in the shed here. Gets the stronger stations pretty well. I'll hook an aerial up to it.
From one of the guest editors who just left in shortly. First, some music from the Marindas.
We had in America and Europe.
Carry me away to the nightlife.
As things like economic justice.
Well, there it is, back in its cabinet and working as it should, and very shortly it'll be back to its owner, and I hope she enjoys it for many years to come. This should go now for many years. It's a nice reminder or memory of her granddad, Austin Brown, or Harry as he was known, and it raises a question of why we restore radios in the first place. To me, the value is in the social connections, the family connections, and the history of these things, rather than their monetary value. We're certainly not in it for the money, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I've got a cracker of a radio coming up next. I'm looking forward to getting to that one. So I hope you can join me in the shed for that, coming up soon. Bye for now.